Hi, I'm Shannon and I'm 18 years old. I'm a white Welsh female and live in Bargoed with my father and my two brothers. My mother passed away when I was 10 and I don't have much contact with the family. I have a few good friends that I see regularly. I live in a Kansas state and went to a public school.
The government 2019 described a young person as someone under the age of 18 years, although there are other definitions. For example, the term used by Youth UK 2019, youth is aged between 18 and 24 years old. During this interview, Shannon will be talking about her experiences between ages 14 and 16. Can you tell me a little bit about the childhood you had, please?
Well, I was busy between the ages of 14 to 16 because I was doing my GCSEs and I have always done quite a lot around the house to help my father. My brothers are useless at housework, so I and my dad sort it, but I don't really mind because it's the only time we spend together. It did used to wind me up because I had big views on stereotypes and I didn't want to be the only one cleaning and doing housework just because I was a girl. I had a few good friends in school and I loved to go out around each other's houses. Used to spend a lot of time with each other and we'd go on trips a lot, only to local places, but it was great fun.
Erik Erikson identified 8 stages of development. Between the ages of 14 and 16, Shannon would have been in the identity versus role confusion stage. There are many factors which could impact on identity formation, such as the availability of role models, friend networks, and a formed emotional development with the family. This is the age where Erikson suggests people should be asking questions such as who am I and what am I going to do with my life. Shannon has a secure and well-formed emotional bond with her father and has stated that she has a good network of friends. Gibson and Gibson 2016 suggests that Shannon would have developed a comfortable sense of self, suggesting that she is more likely to move into an adult relationship with less emotional issues. Adding to Erikson's theory, it has been suggested by Leah 2007 that due to the sense of self that Shannon has developed throughout her adolescence, that she has reduced the risk of developing behavioural or angeral issues and emotional issues in the future. How was your home life? Did you have a job that took up a lot of your time?
No, I didn't have a job, but when I was 10, my mother passed away and left me the only girl in the house with my father and two brothers, John, who was 3 years older than me, and Luke, who was 2 years younger than me. Growing up with brothers is one of those love-hate relationships. I grew up with a lot of aggression. I realise now it's because of the build-up of aggression between my father and brother John after my mother passed away. They used to use quite a lot of physical aggression and pushed each other a lot, but it was just mainly verbal aggression. Mainly in school, where I lost quite a lot of my friends because of it. I used to play fight with my younger brother, and sometimes we would get carried away and hurt ourselves, but most of the time I just remember being hostile.
Bandura and Walters 1963 suggests that the social living history of a person modify their social influences. This suggests that children who have developed a strong sense of dependency are more influenced by social reinforcers. This suggests that Shannon's aggression was so easily influenced by her father and brothers because she became very dependent on them when her mother died. Shannon's build of aggression can link to Bandura's Bobo doll experiment. The findings from this experiment showed that people who observe aggression imitate aggressive responses. Shannon witnessed aggression from her father and her brother through her grief, and in response came her own aggression. Bandura also suggests that females show more verbal aggression, especially if they are being aggressive against another female, whereas men are more likely to be physically aggressive. This links to Shannon's case, as she mentioned she was mainly verbally aggressive, although her father and brothers tended to be more physical. What type of discrimination or stereotyping do you think you faced as a child?
I think there was a lot of stereotyping just with being a teenager. You don't have a special way to look or any of those things. When I was in high school, we was only allowed to go into the local shop at lunchtime at 2 at a time, and even then we were made to leave our bags at the front of the shop. You could tell we were walking down the street sometimes that someone was frightened of you just because of your age. I was, because obviously I was bigger, they thought that I was going to mug them or something. I know that you hear a lot of young people related to crime in the news, but this doesn't mean that everyone under 21 is a criminal.
The Youth Justice statistics by the government in 2018 shows that the number of young people who have received a caution or sentence has fallen by 82% in the last 10 years. It's also shown that 6% of the fall has happened within the last year, showing how youth crime is decreasing and maybe the stereotype of young criminals is slowly changing to become more positive. The Equal Opportunities Commission defined discrimination as being treated unfavourably because someone thinks you belong to a group of people with a protected characteristic. The 9 protected characteristics include gender, race, disability, religion, pregnancy or maternity, religious orientation, gender reassignment, marriage, civil partnership, and age. Dovido 2010 suggests that when people are being stereotyped or discriminated against, this will greatly affect them socially. This is because many people who feel they are being stereotyped find it more difficult to be involved in the community and become hostile to people because they believe others are stereotyping them. This could create a cycle where if people are being stereotyped, they become hostile and view the stereotype. Sargent 2011 suggests that people can be discriminated against because of their ages, especially if they are young. Sargent also goes on to say that young people can be discriminated against because they think they are unemployed, dangerous, and antisocial. Do you think you're stereotyped because of your gender?
Definitely, everyone is stereotyped because of their gender, not just me. I think gender is a big thing now, and as much as people don't have to stick to their gender roles anymore, it still kind of feels that way. I think being a girl can lead people to think you're not stronger and too sensitive. This isn't always the case. Like, if men are seen crying, there's a big thing about it, but if I'm seen crying, it's like a normal thing for a girl to do. I think boys my age just sees my gender as not actually the person I am. I think that the fact that I'm a girl also means it's not okay to do certain things. Like when we were younger and all the boys would underage drink, and that was fine, but if a group of girls did, then it was seen as not ladylike.
The Office of National Statistics in 2019 claimed that people aged between 16 and 24 were the least likely to drink, but when they did drink, they were more likely to binge drink. Enforcing stereotypes is covert discrimination. As described by Citizens Advice, this is when someone is treated in the same way as everyone else, but it has a worse effect on them because of certain reasons. This could include age. They are often hidden and difficult to challenge as they can be explained away. Do you think the area you grew up in made people stereotype you?
Yes, like I said, not being able to take your bag into a shop, like that wouldn't happen in a more posh place, would it? I think my area isn't exactly known for being a good place, and people use that against the people who live here.
Do you think the media and the internet affected the way you behaved at that age?
Definitely. I think it still affects everything at my age now and will continue to as I get older. Sometimes if you're not in the right frame of mind, the media is definitely not your friend. I remember a lot of my friends started smoking because they saw famous people, they liked doing it, and now it's just ruining their health.
In an article by McCall et al. 2011, it says that the media has an impact of negative social behaviours such as smoking. They found that there were significant social and demographic differences in judgments of smokers in the media. Some students in this research had more of an empathetic assessment of smokers in the media, and if they had a friend that smoked, it was associated with a more positive image of smoking. Peer pressure is also mentioned in this article, stating that many people find it difficult to resist peer pressure up until the age of 18, which suggests why many people begin smoking when their friends begin at a younger age. Baker University 2011 showed that the internet is more widely used by young people compared to other age groups. They show that in 2017, the average use of internet in the European Union member states was 60%, whereas the overall age for people between 16 and 24, this percentage reached 88%, with a peak of 99% in the Netherlands and 10% in Denmark. Do you think you were interested in politics at that age?
I like to think I was, but I don't think I really understood anything that was going on because I didn't really watch the news or anything like that.
University 2011 also suggests that young people are thought to be more sceptical and to show more political apathy, which is a non-interest in politics. It can also be suggested that due to the amount of discussion involving young people becoming more involved in politics, such as the ability to vote at an early age, that more people are becoming slowly more interested in politics. Do you think that the media made you buy certain products, and do you think that young people have unrealistic expectations and compare themselves to others?
I definitely bought certain products, mainly makeup because of the media. Like I said before about people smoking because of their favourite celebrities were, it's like the same thing really. If I saw someone advertising makeup, I would instantly want to try it and save up the best I could to buy it. My brothers are the same, but they all like the designer clothes rather than makeup. I remember when you would see an advert on TV for like McDonald's or Domino's and you just couldn't stop thinking about it until you ate one. This was a big thing for me and my friends, eating junk food.
In 2015, the Welsh NHS stated that 12.5% of children aged as young as 5 to 6 were obese, with the figures still rising today. There are many reasons for this, although a recurring theme suggests that the rise in obesity levels is because of advertisement and easy access. Harrison Graff 2012 stated in the American article on public health that children can see up to 13 different food advertisements a day and that the food industries spend a lot of their money targeting children advertisement. This article focuses on McDonald's, suggesting that their mascot and the availability of Happy Meals are the only reason that children eat the food. Can you speak any other language other than English, or have you started to learn any other languages?
When I was in school, we had to study Welsh up to GCSE level, meaning that I do know some basics. We also had to study French for the first 3 years of high school, but I probably couldn't tell you much more than my name.
Thank you, Shannon, for completing my interview. The Welsh Government in 2017 forced children in Wales to study the Welsh language, therefore encouraging globalisation. They also require that children in another language, such as French or Spanish, for a few years and then have the choice to take this at GCSE level. When working with young people, it can often help to have different professionals all working together, also known as multi-agency practice. Shannon might have found a counselling service or mental health service helpful, as she could be suffering with the death of her mother as she did not have much time to grieve or process the information. The National Health Service 2019 suggests that people suffer through bereavement in any way, and many people still suffer many years on as they were unable to process their feelings properly. It could also be suggested that a counsellor could help Shannon process her bereavement and manage any aggression that she continues to have. Another profession that could support Shannon could have been the teachers in the school. Shannon suggests that due to her home situation, her grades and her achievements in school suffered. When sharing information between other services such as youth workers, counsellors and the schools, this provides them with the knowledge they need to better support Shannon in her educational studies. A youth worker would also be a good professional to help Shannon, as their role is to build a rapport with the individual. Shannon said that for years after her mother had died that she had a build-up of her aggression. A youth worker would be someone that she would be able to talk to, as she didn't have many people there for her, and she would have felt more comfortable talking to at the time. It can be suggested that young people need schemes that are developed by young people to encourage empowerment by asking, "What would you like to do about the situation?" rather than trying to fix the problem for them. It's also said many professionals will complete tasks for young people rather than encouraging them to undertake the tasks themselves, as it requires less work. This is seen as bad practice. Fong et al. 2016. To work with Shannon as an individual, she would need to be asked what it is she would have liked to do with her situation and decided what would have been possible and doable. The professional would then need to support Shannon in her educated choices and help support any tasks. Otto et al. 2017 focuses on the importance of youth empowerment as means for better socio-economic development. This suggests that empowerment allows all aspects of a person to become widely developed. It also stated that empowering people and giving them more knowledge means they would have a higher confidence and self-esteem. It's also suggested by Batchelor J. 2013 that if the commitment to empower young people, especially girls, then it allows practice to become seamless and united the care professional in one common goal.